Hello and good afternoon. My name is Martin Coward, and welcome to Noonday Meditation and Contemplative Prayer Power Hour, where we have been gathering together in this virtual sanctuary almost since the beginning of the pandemic to love and support each other through this pandemic. And Lord, looking back at 2020, it has been a challenging year. And I am so grateful for all of you for being here then and supporting and me and each other through this very challenging time. And there's just nothing quite, I don't know that we've ever gone through anything quite like this. And I think that for me, it has been such a privilege to be having this sanctuary, if you will, to love and support each other through these times. And um, just so, and thank you so much for just all that you've been doing. And I'm in Puerto Rico right now, which is wonderful. So um, we might have a little bit of a Zoom outage or a power outage here in a few minutes, and all of a sudden I go black and fade away, and then the power comes back and I come back in. So if that happens, just please sit tight. I'll come back and be here in a minute. And as always, I love it when you just type into the chat and say you're here. Tell me your name. Tell me who you are. Any questions you have, anything you want to talk about. um, I'm here for that. Um, I'm looking at how we may be shifting from last year and one way of living to another way of living, and I think we're shifting from what I might call a me world to a we world, and that's exciting. And you know what we know is there's only one creative force in the universe, and that creative force is love. Yes, love with a capital letter, not the emotional or romantic things we often call love, but that formless mystery of true love, love of life. Fear is not the opposite of love. Love has no opposites, as it alone is all there truly is. Fear is our human illusion of love. We feel separated. We feel separated from ourselves and from the divine part of ourselves. And this is fat. This is fake news because in reality, we actually cannot separate ourselves from our true self. We cannot separate ourselves from the unconditional love that is within us, our spirit. That is who and what we are. That's our spark of life. But the mind, the human mind, the ego mind, can create the illusion, and it does all the time, that we're separated. And the thing is that the idea of unconditional love and the way the spirit works is non-binary, meaning that the human, hey, Mindy, how are you doing? Great to see you. So glad you're here. It's just nice to have you here. It's always good to have you here at Christmas time, and it warms my spirit. I've been on the phone most of the morning with Zoom, with doing coaching calls, and it's just amazing where everybody is right now in the world, and how we've all kind of come through this 2020 with a tremendous amount of resilience, and we've discovered the power of love within ourselves. And I think we're shifting from a very me-oriented world to a we-oriented society, where the community is more powerful and of a bigger interest to us. There's my friend Audrey. Audrey, good to see you, and Mindy both. Glad you're here, and thank you for coming yesterday. Wasn't For those, if you were here yesterday, I think you both were. Wasn't Deborah a tremendous gift yesterday? I mean, she was such a powerhouse of love and transformation and magic, and she really gave us a tremendous insight into what's going on in the cosmos with the planets coming together and they were grooving along, cooking a pot of collards this morning. Collards? I thought collards a little early for collards, isn't it? Collards are more for New Year's, but you can have collards whenever you want to. And so, yes, I'm sorry, people. The internet connection here in Puerto Rico is just not as good as it can be in other places, but we'll all get through this together. It's not the end of the world. Yes, a gift for all of us. Yes, she was, and I would taste your green. Ah, yes, I love collard greens. One of my favorite things on the planet is collard greens. Love them, love them, love them, love them. And yes, and wasn't she just back to Deborah being our guest yesterday? She just taught me so much, and really about the shift in the cosmos and going from the old way to the new. We talk about it a lot here, and from one perspective, but it was just really wonderful to hear it from her perspective. And I got to tell you, when I just met her last week, we met through some friends and suggested we get together. And she's in Barbados and I'm in Puerto Rico. And when you get two magicians like us together, we start talking. We just had a ball and we just fell in love with each other. And I said, I want you to come on my show. She said, what? And we started talking. I said, and she mentioned Monday. I said, that would be fantastic. And I think it was such a gift to all of us to help us sort of understand this whole idea of a supercharged solstice and the dancing of the planets and the shifting to a new age of Aquarius and what that all means for us and just the whole magic of love itself. And I was really just tickled to death yesterday to have her with us, and what a gift she is and what a gift you are. None of this would be workable if we didn't have each other to reflect on for each other. So I just wanted to say that. And back again to this idea, she kind of took me on yesterday, and this idea of me going from a me to a we world as we move into this age of Aquarius. And I think that if anything we've realized about ourselves in the last year is how resilient we are. And we've all learned to sort of let go of what we think we need and realize we already have everything we need in the world. We just need to hold each other and share what we have with each other, share our gifts with each other. And that just makes for a whole different way of living in the world. And we talk about that all the time here. And I think when we come into 2021, we're going to be moving much more into a community driven, love driven, community driven global society where our economic structures and our social structures are actually designed for the benefit of everyone and not just for a few people at the top. As we tear down this old fear-driven scarcity mindset and way of seeing in the world, like it's just not enough for me and not enough for everybody else. I got to claw my way to the top to get my share. I think I'm ready for that old toxic system to just go away. And I think we go. And I was just talking to someone this morning in one of my coaching classes. Let's plan for 2021 as a year of sharing and no more me, but now it's we. What can we do for each other to love and support each other into the world, not just during the pandemic, but we've learned just how powerful love is when we truly let go of our own sort of selfish needs. We're not because we're selfish, because we've lived in that world where we had to protect ourselves. And I think we're learning there's another way that's just a lot more fun, a lot more exciting. And so I want to encourage you to think about what your world will look like and how you can envision 2021 from a place of not having to always look out for me, but actually to enjoy. How do I look out for we? How do I put we first? How do I put the community first? Um, and I've been practicing that. We've all been practicing that since the beginning of this pandemic. And Deborah helped us see it more clearly yesterday as she guided us through some wonderful meditations and some visualizations into the age of Aquarius. I love the idea of being able to envision ourselves in that through that door of a whole new world of built on love and joy and excitement and prosperity. Because that's the truth. That's the way the divine within us wants to live. And as we celebrate Christmas, which is coming up this week, I'd like us to think about it in this way. It's something I learned from the Reverend Cynthia Bourgeau, and that is that when the infinite creator of the universe, when that infinite unconditional love that created everything, what it did in the creation of a baby was it poured itself into a finite being called a human, a little baby. And the infinite became finite, finite within a body and finite within a duration of time. But that infinity, that infinite creative spark of love, that's still the essence of who and what we are. And when we can let go of our fear of being of not getting things, we can actually embrace that part of ourselves and bring that into life in a wonderful way. And that's what we celebrate on Christmas. We don't just celebrate the birth of a one baby born 2,000 years ago. And who knows if it was the same Jesus that became Jesus of Nazareth, the teacher. Could be, or it could just be a metaphor. I don't know, and it doesn't really matter, because I think the metaphor is more important. The story of the birth of Christ within the human being, that spark of life coming to the world in a baby. All babies, you, me, every baby. That's what life is. That is God incarnate. There is a Christ within all, the universal Christ. So that's what I want to reflect on as we begin. We realize we are all that Christ. That's how we're connected. And I'm just excited about the age of Aquarius, as we learned yesterday, because it is moving us from a place of me to we, and gosh, I know living in we is because it's just too hard to make. Life is too hard alone. We need each other. We need each other to love and appreciate our gifts and share our gifts and be in harmony with ourselves and be in alignment with our spiritual nature. So, hallelujah for all of that good stuff. And it was let me find that quote that I had from Bell Hooks. And I love this. When we drop fear, we can draw nearer to people. We can draw nearer to the earth, and we can draw nearer to all heavenly creatures that surround us. That's a quote that I used today from Bell Hooks. So let's meditate. Has anybody got something you want to talk about? If you got something you want to talk about or comment on, please drop it into the chat and we'll do that. Otherwise, we will meditate. We will get more intimate with that divine nature as we surrender and let go of our egoic beliefs and opinions and judgments. Not that those are all bad. Those are all wonderful. We need that. She said yesterday, we're grateful for our brilliant minds and all the work that they do to protect us. But we're going to give them a little vacation. We're going to say, you're going to go not just to work for me, but brilliant mind, you're going to go to work for we. Because we're all here together. So, dear brilliant mind of yours, I want you to become the servant to the we. I hope so. It is time. The house of the woman, the divine feminine is coming back, and you got my, and I'm not just talking about gender here, although it's an important component of it. But I think it's for men and women both in gender to accept the divine feminine within themselves. I think that it is the age of the divine feminine within us, because of course we're equal. And the divine knows there's no such thing as a superior position. It's the egoic mind. But I think that there's the sort of egoic male-dominated, which is what we've been living in since the beginning of time, practically. This patriarchal, fear-driven, toxic environment that basically stripped the divine feminine out of our consciousness. She's back. She is clearly back in so many ways. And she's getting involved in our politics. She's getting involved in our corporations. Gender, yes. I mean, just look at all the women that are part of President-elect's cabinet. We have a woman vice president. Hallelujah. Because that's how we're going to bring this all back into harmony. It's the women age. It's the divine feminine that see it as a we instead of as a me. The old male-dominated, egoistic, separate me, protect me is old and toxic and painful. And I am jumping with joy. And her name is Joy, the wise woman. I am jumping with joy at letting go of the reins for the divine to take over and rule the world. And just look at the fierce women in the world who've been holding us together. Look at Nancy Pelosi, for example. What a fierce woman she is. She's a woman that holds a lot of power, but not because she's for herself, but because she loves and she cares for others so deeply. And others before her, Hillary Clinton, and others they were a little before their time. They weren't able to fully accept perhaps the divine feminine within them, because so much of the time, so many political leaders and our corporate leaders, they would try to be men. Instead of honoring the divine feminine and bringing that out in them, to compete in a male-dominated world, they quieted their own divine feminine but that's shifting. That's where the power is. That's where the power of Stacey Abrams is, as she turns that state into electing some officials who actually care about the people that they govern. And that's what the divine does. The divine feminine cares about the we more than the me. And once you get that, it's like the whole world changes. You see, the whole world. Yes, she is back. Love. Yes, Sojourner. Oh, I don't. Sojourner Truth. Isn't she a fabulous woman? Wasn't she something else? Wow. Brilliant, brave black women who came from the heart. I'm back. I'm back. Yes, Mindy, preach. Yes, both of you preach. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for your comments and thank you for your statements here. I mean, wow. Wow, wow, wow is all I got to say. So thank you so much. So should we meditate now? And Audrey and Mindy, I've got open spots. I love having people come on as my guest here. If you ladies, women would like to come on as my guest one day and share the space with me and share your truth and share what's going on with you, I would. You're both welcome. I mean, I think Mindy's been here before, and I don't know, you haven't been here yet, but you got big hearts, and I know you got some good stuff to say, and I'd love to hear you. And you're welcome here anytime to come and share your truth in this wonderful journey as we move ourselves into the age of Aquarius, the age of women. So let me turn off my cell phone so I don't get interrupted. And if the internet goes out, it'll turn black, and I'll come back in 20 minutes. Bear with us, and we'll get it, and we will do just fine. But just so you know, I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. And we will meditate, but raise your arms in the air. And we raise our arms primarily, I ask us to bring us conscious of that life force in our veins, that living energy, that divine energy, that spirit. Embody the spirit, bring it alive. And then you can bring your arms down into your lap and get comfortable and sit and begin to become conscious of the breath, the stillness of it. Fall into that divine stillness, the place of no mind, no thinking. And we do that by surrendering, letting go of our thoughts, our opinions, and our beliefs, our judgments of what's good and bad, right and wrong. Just let them all dissolve into the emptiness, into the stillness of unconditional love within us. And if the mind begins to work as it does, it's okay. Minds are made to do that. We don't want the mind to quit working. We can just ask it to be still for a little bit. And if it works some more, say, you can be still some more. Take a little vacation. Take a little time off. You worked awfully hard this year. Just let go. Allow the sound of that bell and my voice to wake us up from our thinking our planning, our stories, and just remember to let them go and fall back into the stillness, the spaciousness of unconditional love within ourselves. Allow the sound of that bell and my voice to wake us up and let go of whatever work we were working on. Thank that brilliant mind. There's our bell. And welcome back. I think that's a great idea. Let's have a great big potluck dinner. Everybody bring their feasts. You do it in my backyard, my house. Yes, great idea. Fun, fun, fun. Nothing like sharing a big meal together. I know I popped in and out a little bit here on this somewhat weak internet system. My apologies, but we're all here together. We're all breathing in one. We're all one. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I will, unless we have something else we want to say, we will sign out and continue to prepare ourselves for Christmas. If you celebrate Christmas, if you don't, just enjoy the day. Enjoy the celebration of the birth of human life. That is something we can all celebrate. Is the birth of a baby boy or girl in this world. And anything in between. Any human being is welcome in a miracle. You're so welcome, and thank you. And may love and prosperity continue to prevail. Thank you so much.